Hi, and welcome to Cosmic Consciousness with Cassia. On this channel, we discuss all aspects of the Ascension process. I have a variety of services that I offer to assist in your awakening journey, and you can find those listed in the description box below. Today, we're going to be talking about the new moon in Capricorn. This is happening on the 12th or the 13th of January, 2021, depending on where you are in the world. And this is an incredibly powerful, incredibly transformative, and incredibly interesting new moon. The thing that I find the most interesting about this new moon is the timing of it. And so this new moon will be happening at 23 degrees of Capricorn, just before midnight on the 12th. And so the peak of this energy will be felt on the 13th, right? And so it's sort of happening and occurring on both days, one day, but moving into the next day. And it's happening at 23 degrees of Capricorn, but the sun will be at 22 degrees of Capricorn throughout most of that day, shifting to 23 degrees on the night of the 12th. And this is very, very interesting with that conjunction of the moon and the sun, which marks the new moon happening just before midnight on the 12th at 23 degrees of Capricorn. If we look back at January 2020, we will notice that on January 12th, the same day last year, we had that exact conjunction of Pluto and Saturn that everybody was so greatly anticipating. And that happened at 22 degrees of Capricorn. Now, this was the energy that set in motion a lot of the dramatic events that we saw unfolding throughout 2020. It set into motion this process of really watching those systems of authority crumble, of shifting into this new paradigm. The destruction of the old paradigm was triggered. And this is the destruction of the old paradigm in the outer world and also in our inner world, as well as our inner paradigm began to shift and change. And we saw throughout 2020 these incredibly powerful vortexes of energy marked every time that Pluto and Jupiter were conjunct. They were conjunct 3 times throughout 2020, the first time being right on that 4-4 portal. And so we saw the activations that we received, the empowerment, the shifts that we all experienced through that process. And then we saw 2020 closing out with that conjunction of Saturn and Jupiter at 0 degrees of Aquarius, really anchoring in that age of Aquarius timeline. So these are powerful energies that we've been working with, really powerful shifts. And I think it's very significant that this new moon is occurring in the sign of Capricorn at 23 degrees, right as the 12th ends and the 13th begins, right? And so it's almost, we see the movement here. It's like, it's not happening right on the 12th. It's happening right as the 12th is turning into the 13th. And the sun is shifting on that same day from 22 degrees into 23, with this new moon happening at 23 degrees. And so it's really fascinating to see. It's like we're seeing that movement, we're seeing that shift as we close out and move into these new energies, right? As we take with us all of the transformative lessons that we have learned, all of these lessons around our personal authority, our personal empowerment, and then we move them into a new future, into a new timeline, into a new energy. This moon is very much about transformation. It's also extremely telling. I don't know what the word is that I'm wanting to use here, but it is very important to note that the sun and the moon will be conjunct Pluto during this new moon. And so once again, we have that Plutonic energy coming in. Pluto, the sun, and the moon all conjunct, all right around this same angle, the same degrees where all of these powerful shifts happen. I want to say it was the second conjunction of Pluto and Jupiter that was actually at 23 degrees. Like, these numbers, they're continuing to follow us. They're continuing to play out. We're seeing these cycles, right? Astrology is all about cycles within cycles within cycles. And so this is a huge energy. This is an incredible energy of transformation, of us really stepping into our spiritual authority and our spiritual power. I'm feeling a lot of past life energy with this new moon, the integrating, the calling back of soul fragments, the calling back of our light integrating these past lives, right? All of these different energies, these different expressions of our souls and our soul's power. We also have Neptune sextiling this conjunction of the sun, the moon, and Pluto, adding that higher vibrational energy in, adding that higher spiritual vision, that higher spiritual insight, that spiritual knowing, and really like supercharging this conjunction. So it's really, really powerful, potent energy as we are really cementing in, calling in these soul gifts, especially as we said, those from former lifetimes. We are, yes, with Pluto, there is that element of the shadow. So we are absolutely looking at and becoming aware of the shadow side of our psyche. And we have been doing this all in this week leading up. We have been feeling this energy as the sun moves into conjunction with Pluto. And so this is this is nothing new. This is an energy we have been feeling, right? And it's been building up. And if we have been paying attention to what's been revealed, then it won't necessarily, for some people, maybe it will be a big reveal. Honestly, we have Uranus who is stationing direct on the 13th as well. He will still be technically retrograde as the new moon happens, but then later on in the evening on the 13th, Uranus will station. And so this is really powerful energy too. There's a lot of major shifts and energies and movements of energies going on here, but it probably won't be a shock. Because our psyche, right, and what's being revealed about that, if we've been paying attention up until this point, there may just become a point of clarity and integration, because this is the whole point of this Plutonic energy. Pluto wants us to face our shadow. It wants us to see our psyche. It wants us to see all of the subtleties of our shadow so that we can illuminate it and bring it into the light. We cannot be in true command of our power if there are aspects of us that are unaddressed, that we are unaware of. When we become aware of them, right, aware of these shadow aspects of ourselves, of our psyche, of our nature, we then gain the gifts that they possess as well. And so as we're integrating these past life soul energies, I'm feeling that very much as well, integrating the shadow aspects of these shadowier energies and past lives. There are many of us who had very powerful past lives that were shrouded in some of this shadow energy, where we perhaps had incredibly potent gifts, but did not use them for the highest good. And so we are going to be integrating, I feel, some of those energies as well. But we're going to be bringing that into the light. When we can look upon every single aspect of ourselves and love that aspect of ourselves, when we no longer feel shame, when we no longer feel these emotions and energies that cause us to hide parts of ourselves from ourselves, and we can view those parts, we can view the totality of ourselves. And when we can embrace, accept, and view the totality of ourselves, we then are standing in the totality of our power. And this is what Pluto teaches us how to do. It is sometimes uncomfortable, but it is absolutely necessary. And so we've really been going through this throughout 2020 and beyond, obviously, for a lot of people, but definitely talking about this cycle that we've been in throughout 2020. We had that Pluto retrograde that brought up a lot of stuff. We've been looking at these energies. And so now we've hopefully become more practiced at the integration of this, at looking at those aspects of our shadow nature, at how we look at those with love, how we absorb those back into ourself, right? Those are all pieces of ourself. And when we release that judgment, that self-judgment, we can then embrace those aspects of the self into the light. We don't have to be afraid. There's a lot of people that I feel have been afraid of our light and afraid of our power and afraid of not being able to trust ourselves to wield that power. But now we are gaining that sense of trust in ourselves that allows us to claim that, to call that back, and to bring all of that back into light. There's also a strong, with this correlation with Neptune, there's a strong draw to the collective as well. Understanding the collective unity, the collective consciousness, and how it is that we can, once we claim and stand in our power and our authority, how it is that we can then benefit the collective, how those energies together, how we can come together with all of that strength in order to really truly build the world that we want to live in, the world that we want to see. We have the power to do that. And so we're really understanding that. It's a really intense energy. This is not a new moon for the faint of heart, but it is a warrior's new moon. That's how I feel this energy. It's very much with this Capricorn energy. Capricorn is an earth sign. It's a grounding energy. We're grounding in these energies. We're grounding in these soul gifts. We're grounding in our spiritual power. We're grounding in these aspects of our light into this vessel, this body, this earth, this lifetime. So it's extremely powerful energy. Capricorn energy is all about the long game. It's all about strategy, right? Capricorn would be if there were one sign that was really great at chess. I feel like Gemini would be pretty good at chess too, because they like to see different possibilities and, they're very mental oriented. But it would be Capricorn, because Capricorn is strategy, or Virgo. But we're going with Capricorn for this analysis. Strategy. What do I need to do to move forward? It's our ambition. It's our drive to succeed. And we are being very driven to succeed, to step into. It's that sign of authority, really centering into our authority, really looking at the long-term picture, the long-term goals, and making concrete steps. This is about movement. Capricorn is cardinal energy. So it's all about forward momentum and movement. There is so much movement with this new moon. This is a really powerful time for manifesting. If you're not one that typically does manifesting rituals or things like that with new moons, I would highly suggest it with this one, because it is so powerful. I am actually going to link below. There is a new moon manifesting ritual that I do with a few other people on the new moons. It's really powerful. It's really fun. I go in, I discuss the astrology. We have a shaman. He creates and sets the sacred space, calls in all the directions. We have a woman who sings beautifully, who has a very activating, powerful voice, who really sets and clears and holds the space and the energy with the power of her voice. And we have my Theta healing teacher, who leads us through a belief session. We clear some beliefs. We download a bunch of beliefs that are relative to the energies of the new moon. And then she leads everyone through a Theta healing manifesting ritual together. It's incredibly powerful. So if you guys are interested in that, there will be a link for that down below. Send $10 to the PayPal address, and then you will be sent a link to the Zoom meeting. It's going to be at 6:30 on the 13th. It's going to be really fun. But even if you don't join us for that, you guys, do something. Do something to capitalize on these energies, because we are setting a whole new trajectory for ourselves moving forward. This is a huge transformational, brand spanking new cycle that we are starting, and we have absolutely earned it. We have some other interesting things going on right now as well. We have Saturn as the ruler of this new moon, being the ruler of Capricorn. And Saturn is part of a stellium in Aquarius right now with Jupiter, Pallas, and Mercury. And so this is a really exciting, really fun combination of planets. And they're all in the sign of Aquarius, which is that forward thinking energy. Not only are they in the sign of Aquarius, but they're squaring Uranus, okay? Uranus, which is stationing direct later the evening of the 13th. So this is powerful energy. This is really that energy that is challenging us, right? This is a square aspect to Uranus. So it's a point of tension. But points of tension are good because they force us to act, right? We can't stay stagnant when we have this type of tension. And so Uranus is really calling us, especially being the ruler of Aquarius, right? Calling us to step forward, calling us to set ourselves free. Right? We look at the planets. When we have Mercury that represents the mind, how are we ready and willing to set our minds free? Saturn represents the physical world, right? Even we could say in this example, maybe the body. How are we willing and able and ready to set our bodies free? To create the structure that provides freedom in our lives, right? Pallas, what is that strategy? What does that look like? How are we willing to fight for what matters to us? Jupiter, our faith. How are we willing to free ourselves in terms of our faith? How are we willing and ready to expand, to grow, to optimize? This is a very uplifting, very powerful energy if we are willing to embrace the change. If we are not, it's going to be a point of resistance. If we are, then it's really like Uranus is holding the key that helps us to unlock the door. There's a lot of energy of liberation. We also have a sextile happening to Chiron with this stellium in Aquarius. And so this is really interesting energy because this is the energy of our healing journey. The ultimate manifestation of Chiron, right, as the wounded healer, is these deepest wounds that exist within us. When we are able to address them, when we are able to heal them, they hold the key that shows us how we are then able to help provide and show a path forward to others in their own healing journey. And so we're really being shown that path forward right now. That path forward is being revealed if we have the courage to walk it. And we're really acknowledging our healing journey, being inspired by our healing journey so far, and really beginning to get a vision for how that healing journey can help to assist the collective. How it is that healing journey has assisted us, how it is that we've grown, how it is that it's setting us free, how we are ready and being challenged to set ourselves free next, right? It's like a deeper and deeper level of freedom and liberation that is offered to us. And so we're getting offered a deeper level of that. And we're seeing how, as we set ourselves free, we set others free. And like the path forward, what that looks like, how it is that we are going to be able to make that change and to be that change that we want to see in the world. We also have Venus in a similar kind of situation here. Venus is being squared by Chiron, so there's that point of tension, right? And trining Mars and Uranus, which are actually conjunct, which I forgot to mention. So when we're talking about Uranus and the energy that Uranus has squaring the stellium, Uranus is conjunct Mars, so Mars is squaring the stellium as well. So that's where this push to act becomes even stronger. Because Mars and Uranus together just amplify each other's energy, right? Mars really drives Uranus to rebel, to expand, to look beyond, right? To that energy of setting ourselves free of our independence is so incredibly strong when we have these two planets together. And Uranus really, it's almost like eggs Mars on. Uranus is like, yeah, do that. Let's go there. Let's do that. Let's do the thing. Let's, like that energy of like, well, when you have two friends that get together and each one kind of like lights the fire a little more of the other one, like stokes the flames. It's like that kind of energy when they get together. So this is like explosive energy, especially like we said with Uranus getting ready to turn direct and station direct on the night of the 13th. That is powerful. And so we have these energies trining Venus with that square to Chiron. So Venus is feeling very rebellious. Venus is feeling very empowered and really like possibly being triggered a little bit by the healing process and really looking at the wounds that have come up. This is around our relationships. This is around self-love. This is around our finances, right? Our creativity, all of these different expressions of that Venusian energy, really looking at those wounds that we've been healing around that and feeling driven to act on them. Am I acting in a way that shows that these wounds have healed, or am I still acting out of these wounds, right? And how, once again, how do I set myself free? And feeling very much like a trine is a harmonious aspect. So feeling very much empowered to do that and very good about doing that. We just want to be careful that we don't come off a little bit abrasive when it comes to this, because that squaring aspect, it's like that can be a little intense, right? So we want to do this. We want to assert ourselves. We want to speak our minds. We want to speak our hearts. We want to move forward in a way that is compassionate and loving at the same time. So just something to be aware of there. And Mars is feeling really active as well. Mars is moving out of that square to Pluto. And so that was where we were feeling that sort of restriction, that final restriction of our energy, that final block or obstacle that we were being forced to look at before we could move through it. And now that energy is dissipating and Mars is moving forward. Mars is moving into a square now with Saturn and Jupiter. However, this square with Saturn and Jupiter is simply going to allow Mars to see what those next steps are. How is it that I enact everything that I've learned? So there's a big emphasis around that right now. This enacting what it is that we've learned, putting that into action, putting that into practice, right? This is an earth-centered new moon. So it's all about that groundwork physically. What am I doing in my physical reality? All right, so we're going to pull a couple Black Moon astrology cards to start here. See what those have to say. Clear. All right, Capricorn new moon. Energies for the Capricorn new moon. Okay. We have lunar eclipse change coming out. And then we also have the moon card, soul. And so this is a shift in our soul, right? This is major changes unfolding on a soul level. Like we said, the claiming of past life energies, the claiming of our soul fragments, the huge shift in our soul's energy as our soul's energy becomes stronger, gains more light, gains more trajectory, if you will. So like huge soul shifts going on. And then on the bottom of the deck here, we have Capricorn and Uranus coming up on the bottom of the deck. So I really like that right there. We'll see if they come back out again, but I do like that they were right there. But yeah, this huge shift in our soul, this transformation of our souls as we come more into the truth of our souls. And then we have the 9th house coming out, faith. So there's a huge shift as well in our faith, right? As our faith is strengthened, as we call more upon that aspect of ourselves. I'm feeling the blueprint energy. You see on the hand here, I guess these are planets that it has mapped out. But like when I looked at that, it looked like a map or a blueprint. So like it's like our soul's blueprint is being changed and rewritten and updated, which is really powerful, profound energy. Even in this moon energy, I'm noticing how they're like, it looks like drawings on a cave wall or something. So I'm feeling like really ancient energy coming through, like, and that's those ancient aspects of our soul that are coming back online, which is really, really powerful. So maybe it's not even that our blueprint's being rewritten. It's more that our soul's blueprint is being activated. That the highest blueprint of our soul is being activated, which is, oh, that's powerful stuff, you guys. Yes, our destiny, right? The Yod destiny card. Our destiny is being activated. Our knowing, right? Aquarius, I know. Our destiny, our knowing, our faith, our soul. These are where the changes are coming through. And yes, the Capricorn card coming back out. I use, right? This is the energy of how do I use all of this? Now that my soul's blueprint is activated, now that my destiny, it's like I'm noticing the way it points like an arrow, right? Now that my soul's destiny, and it's actually, if you see the way it is here, I'm going to see if I can show you guys. It's like pointing at the map. How I saw the hand as a map. You know what I mean? So as that is activated, I feel for some guys, there's going to be activations that you feel in your hands too. Yeah, you're going to feel this energy in your hands. There's going to be healing power activated through your hands. Just a lot going on with the hands. And it's really interesting because the daily reading that I did, the galactic signature today, was the blue hand. So yeah, just really your sensitivity being activated. I'm noticing on the Yod destiny card now too, how the tree of life from the Kabbalah is there as well. And so that's really interesting. Yeah, like a lot of really intense heavy. So it's like once all of this energy comes through, once this knowing comes through, right? How do we act upon it? It says I use, but I'm also feeling it as I act. And then it's funny because we have Aries on the bottom of the deck, I am, right? So this new definition of I am, right? And now what do I do with that? How do I use that? How do I act upon that? How do I put that into practice, into practical application is what the Capricorn energy is asking us to do. All right. Then we have the 11th house friends coming out. I'm not sure what I'm feeling from that right now. 7th house partners. Interesting. And Aries I am coming out. Okay. And so what I'm feeling from this is that there's going to be a lot of shifts for people around friendships and partnerships. A lot of people moving in and out of our lives. As our soul's blueprint is activated, as our true light begins shining through, we are going to be releasing and attracting all kinds of different people. Our soul tribe is coming in. That's part of that friends energy, I think. Our divine partners are coming in. They are being activated as we are being activated, and our light is seeking each other's light. Right? It's like those beacons. It's like those lights are turned on and all of a sudden they know how to find their way home. is kind of the energy that I'm feeling. When our true I am energy is activated, those that are meant for us, our divine soul tribe, our divine partners, they are being drawn in, and all the blessings as well. Yes, yes, yes. Blessings, that we have Venus and Pluto under that. Like we said, we'll see if they come back out though. Any other guidance? Yes, second house owning. All right, so the money coming through. Yep, Libra, relationships, balance. I'm feeling like, what I'm feeling with this energy, with the second house and the Libra card, is there's a lot of energy of the abundance. This is definitely abundance coming in. Abundance in love, abundance in and harmony in relationships, abundance in all different ways. But it's also like the balancing. It's sort of like, this is like the karmic return, I almost feel like a return for people of the abundance that is meant for them. It's almost like when we get activated, our abundance, our ability to attract abundance gets activated as well. It almost like balances out. It's like we were off balance. And so for some of us, our finances and our abundance were off balance as well. And so when that comes back into balance, it's almost like I've seen it like a slot machine when all of a sudden they stop moving and it's all sevens. It's like that kind of energy. That balance is restored. That harmony is restored. And for some people, yes, it is like karmic returns. Stuff that is meant for us. What is meant for us coming back to us. So that's really potent and really, really powerful. And then on the bottom, we have North Node, life's purpose. All right, what am I wanting? I'm wanting to do a Beyond Lemuria card for you guys. Clear. What do the Beyond Lemuria cards have to say here? And it's our purpose too. When your purpose is activated and you start moving in the direction of your purpose, the universe aligns to assist you with that, because that's what we're meant to do, right? We fall into the flow, into the synchronization of that. And so that's another way that is balancing out. And then yes, manifest ya. We are capable of manifesting and creating, right? We're stepping into that, deeper into that knowing, right? As we step into our inner authority, into our power, we understand that we have the potential and the capability to truly create whatever we want. And this isn't just in our own lives. We see how we can create this in the collective as well. We can collectively manifest what it is that we desire. Nobody and nothing can stand in the way of that. So that's really powerful. That's really beautiful energy. And I happen to stick that right on top of the friends and partners cards. So I feel like that's once again like manifesting the soul tribe, the divine partnerships as well. We have the portal keeper wanting to pop out there. And this is very much, I'm not sure if I mentioned it as we were talking, but this is definitely a portal-like energy that we're feeling with this new moon. Even the sequence of numbers, right? We looked at all of these significant events and the numerology there with the zeros, the ones, and the twos. And so this new moon happens right before the 13th, right? So it begins, this initial spark of this energy happens on 01/12/2021. Right? So all zeros, ones, and twos, and then moves into 1/3, right? So the twos into the threes. Yeah, so super, super powerful energy there. Super intense. Like definitely this portal energy that we are feeling, this manifesting portal. These cards next to each other speak of a huge manifesting portal. And so that's why I said, please join us for that new moon manifesting ritual. If you're feeling called to do so, it's going to be super fun. Whatever you do, work on manifesting, because you want to capitalize on these energies right now. And then we have water, the overflow, right? This is the abundance coming through. This is us being unattached, right? I am connected to everything. I am attached to nothing. This is that energy of non-attachment. You see her hands are open and she's just letting the water flow through them. She is allowing her emotions to flow through her. She's not attaching to them, so they're not getting stuck and stagnant. They are just pouring through her. The abundance, everything. The psychic, the intuition. Water represents our intuition, our psychic abilities, right? Those are just pouring through her because there's a no attachment and no resistance. That's the point. That's the point that we want to be in. We want to be in this point of no attachment and no resistance. This is something, it was something really interesting talking about the energies of Pluto. Something that Pluto actually told me during a meditation where I invoked its energy. And it was incredibly powerful, incredibly potent, and some wild things happened in my life afterwards. So be careful if you're playing with Pluto's energy. I have a fascination with Pluto. It is my favorite planet. I love all that deep, dark stuff, right? But at the same time, like, Pluto will come in and fuck shit up, all right? So be ready for that if you want to play with Pluto's energy. I'll put that disclaimer out there. But what Pluto showed me and what Pluto taught me was that true power comes from a place of neutrality, complete neutrality. From that neutral place, from that null place, that place of zero attachment, you are then in complete control. And so that was a really interesting lesson that Pluto taught me in the art of non-attachment and neutrality, right? Pluto doesn't really care either way. Pluto's going to push us to evolve because that's what Pluto does. Pluto's going to show us and give us access to our ultimate spiritual power because that's what Pluto is, right? Pluto is ultimate spiritual power. However, Pluto doesn't care how we get there. Pluto is not worried about our feelings. Pluto just wants to see us evolve. And so Pluto will do whatever it needs to do in order to help us and to push us along that path of evolution, right? We talk about that phoenix energy. It is not pleasant burning, right? That is not, we think of it and it's beautiful and light and fluffy and airy, and the phoenix is such a beautiful creature and we just imagine it in its majesty, right? But we don't think about what that process of being on fire actually feels like. And we've been feeling that throughout 2020, that process of being on fire. And so it's like we're in that process of rising now. And I think I've said this in a couple videos. It's like, okay, have we risen yet though? Like, really, how long does it take? It takes as long as it takes. And then we go through another cycle, right? It's never over. It's just a deeper layer of transformation. But I'm telling you guys, this layer is pretty deep. And I love that we have ether under that, right? Because ether is the formless. It is the potential, right? It is the potential in which everything exists, and the unformed potential from which everything manifests. So it's really working with working with the ether, creating out of the ether, tapping into that ether and seeing what exists within there. And so tapping into the ether of ourselves, I almost feel like, which is really fun and interesting. And you notice there's like the Metatron cubes behind that, right? All of the potential, we are tapping into all of the formless potential and bringing it into form. And then we also have the soul star chakra merging with the divine here. So a lot of higher activations going on, a lot of merging with our soul self, merging with these divine energies, bringing down possibly activations of the soul star and these higher chakras, right? Like deeper activations of those, so that we are able to pull in more of that cosmic knowledge. Although I guess there's really no pouring, right? The water is pouring. We're not pouring the water, we're receiving it. So a better word would be receive, so that we're able to receive more of this cosmic energy. And we're going to and then we have alignment under that. Alignment and journey to wholeness. And then under that we have reclaim your energy. And so, and awakened awareness, all right? And Realm Bridger, we could keep going. We're not going to, but we could. We could. That's the point. Clear. All right. Okay. We got You're Not Alone coming out. This is guidance from the star beings here. You're Not Alone, Icicle Physical Connection Community. And this automatically, this You're Not Alone card landed on the Manifestia, where we were talking about, which is on top of the friends and the soul tribe and the divine partners. And so this is like for those who have been feeling alone, that energy is coming in. Like you are attracting your soul tribe, your divine partners. That's just like triple confirmation for somebody who was feeling very lonely or hopeless, maybe, that is absolutely happening for you. So if there was somebody who was sitting here watching this and was like, oh, that's great, that's happening for other people, but that's not going to happen for me, that was for you. And so here we have baby steps coming through. Action, follow your intuition before it makes sense, right? This is what we talk about all the time. This is what we're learning how to do. This is that faith. This is how we turn that faith into a knowing, right? That's how we strengthen that intuition into a knowing, I should say, is when we follow it before it makes sense. When we trust it 100% of the time. You're getting guidance, follow that guidance. It doesn't matter. We don't have to analytically understand why. We just have to know, recognize it when it comes in, and then follow, right? That Capricorn energy. Follow through with it. Take those steps, right? Take that act on our intuition. That's what we call, what is the term that we use on here all the time? It's divinely inspired action. That's how we take divinely inspired action. We don't have to. We're not going to know all the pieces to the puzzle right off the bat. We're not going to know the entire journey. All we know is the next step. That's all we need to know. And we need to learn. It's a process with the faith, right? Building that faith, learning how to follow these intuitively guided steps towards your destiny. You don't have to know what that whole destiny is yet. You just have to trust that next step and take that next step. Every time you take another step, you show the universe that you trust it, that you are ready, that you are willing, right? That you are willing. That's a huge energy coming through right now, that you are willing. And when you are willing, and when you are open, and when you are receptive, that is when you are rewarded, right? We're talking about stepping into our spiritual power. With great power comes great responsibility. And so there is a deeper level of responsibility that we step in, responsibility to ourselves, responsibility to the collective, or that we step into. I say, the way I said that we step in, it sounds like when you step in something nasty and it's stuck on the bottom of your shoe. I didn't mean it like that. That we step into, right? And so it's really like understanding that and embodying that as well, that coming through. And then we have cracked open rock bottom, surrender to the alchemy of life. And so for some people, this has been a huge whirlwind, right? The first card out was lunar eclipse change. Change is not always, it doesn't always feel pleasant, right? It can be uncomfortable. And so there may be uncomfortable changes happening. There may be, like we said, as people are removed to make room for these more divine connections, that may be painful. This whole process, right? We talked about this, how burning is not fun. Right? This whole process may have been painful, and it's going to be more and more painful the more you resist, right? Like we only experience the level of suffering that that it requires in order for us to change. If we can surrender to this transformation process sooner, we will experience less suffering. Okay? But for some people, it's just like there was this process, or there will be this process of sort of like reaching a rock bottom. And it's from then that we can begin to ascend for some. And then we have portal coming out. Doors are opening. You decide. Rewards, wild card. You get to decide. You get to choose. What is it that you want to create? What is it that you want to experience? The more that we step into our spiritual power, the more that we start to understand and realize that we get to decide, right? Like we have all of this information being channeled to us from the stars, right? From all of these different places, from our guides. We have all of this information given to us, and we have these options. But do you understand? We have multiple options. We have unlimited options because we are unlimited beings. We get to choose what we want this process to look like. Do we want it to be scary and painful, or do we want it to be beautiful and blissful? Have we learned everything that we needed to learn from pain? If we collectively decide that we have, then we can move forward with a different experience. We get to choose. And I'm also being drawn to on this, the rewards and wildcard energy being right next to each other. So once again, it's follow your intuition before it makes sense. If you choose that wild card, if you choose that, say you're guided to do something intuitively and it really doesn't make any sense and it's scary as hell and you don't know if you want to do it or jump on it, it's the wild card energy. You have no idea how it's going to play out, but something's drawing you to it. If you choose that door, there will be incredible rewards behind that door because it takes balls to choose that door. Basically, it's sort of like what I'm feeling like. There is a reward for that. If you instinctively feel that that is the door for you, you don't know how it's going to work out. It seems like a crazy gamble, but everything within you is pulling you toward that door, and you walk through that door. You have the courage to, and the faith and the trust to walk through that door. You will be rewarded for walking through that door. And then we have the golden children, inner child, tenderness, innocence, rare gifts. This is about the reclaiming of our gifts. This is also about the healing of our inner child. The reclaiming of our innocence, right? As we heal, as we wash ourselves of all of this trauma, of all of this pain, we reclaim our purity as these beautiful, divine, spiritual beings. Our soul is pure, right? The experiences, the actions that we perform in this physical realm oftentimes weren't, but our souls are true and pure. And so it's like, it's interesting because we are integrating these darker aspects of ourselves. But the paradox there is through the integration and the loving of these darker aspects, we actually regain our innocence and our purity. And our gifts transform to a whole new level. And the void. Stop, embrace winter. Great cosmic womb. Enter the void. Don't be afraid of the void. See what's in there. See what there is to find. The void feels very much like the ether card here. So that's really going into the unknown. It's taking that breath. It's allowing that space for things to transform. Some people are being asked to allow that space for things to transform. For some people, the action that needs to be taken right now, and you'll know intuitively which is right for you, is to stop, is to embrace that nothingness, that emptiness, because within that emptiness lies everything. It's sort of like when we move through this portal, there is going to be a void, there is going to be a nothingness before we then are presented with the array of possibilities. There's first, it's like it feels almost like an initiation, this process of allowing ourselves to sink into that nothingness. It's like this allowing ourselves to become nothing so that we can become everything. And so this may be some type of activation, some sort of test of allowing. It's making me think of sometimes when I receive these energetic activations, it almost feels like my entire body is going to explode into a million pieces and I am going to become nothing. And so that's what I'm being drawn to and thinking of right now. So it's like having the courage to move through that energy. I don't know. That's really interesting. That's really interesting. But this is also the destruction. Like, we're going through the destruction process so that we can begin the creation process. But in between destruction and creation, there is this. And just understand that there it can never be truly nothing because the universe is everything. Source is everything. But source is also nothing. And so, yeah, just that interesting. I don't want to repeat myself a million times, but just that interesting. Yeah. And then on the bottom of the deck here, we have Sirius Energy Messenger, bringing harmony and balance. And so I feel like people are going to be receiving messages and guidance. Our ability to channel and to tune into these higher realms is going to be more and more pronounced. As we connect, you notice in this card how it's like she's peeling off her human suit and you see her divine soul underneath. That's kind of like what we're doing right now. So as we peel off more and more of that human suit and we become that true divine being that like fully embody that divine light, we become more and more receptive all the time. And so there's going to be a lot of messages and a lot of guidance coming through for people. I'm feeling almost like it's possible that there's going to be a lot of intensity going on, right? In the political landscape, I'm definitely feeling that when we started out with that conjunction of Saturn and Pluto, right? That we talked about last January 12th. And everything that's transpired since then, and just really feeling as though there's going to be a lot that's revealed. There's going to be a lot of messages, a lot of information coming through that may be very shocking to some people, right? And so we really want to make sure that we stay in our center, in our equilibrium, in that place of neutrality if possible, right? But I also feel like there's going to be like really beautiful messages possibly coming through that humanity is going to receive that are going to bring a lot of harmony and peace, like peace in the midst of all of this chaos and confusion. And so that's really interesting. I don't know if this is like individual messages that we're going to be receiving, or if there's going to be like a larger collective message that somehow people receive. So that's really interesting. Yeah, that's a really interesting energy. And I also feel as though a lot of people are being activated as messengers, as channels, to bring forth this information to humanity. And that card I shuffled and it popped out. So that really wanted to come out like strongly, right? So a lot of people are also opening up to their ability to channel these messages, to receive and transmit these messages. But I feel like there is a message. There's a message for humanity that is going to be from, and this says Sirius energy, so it possibly could be from Sirius. That's wanting to come through to restore harmony and balance. To remind us that we always exist in harmony and balance, right? To help us to find our equilibrium again. To remind us of the fact that we are this, right? Anything more on this message? Anything more on this message? And we have Hiereth coming out. Longing for home, homesick for the stars. Yeah, so this is a message from home. This is a message from home, helping people to feel less alone, right? Helping people to feel less homesick. Reminding us that we are always at home exactly where we are, because our true home isn't within. Our true home is right here. And when we connect with our home in here, nothing else matters, right? We can never feel alone. We can never feel homesick because we are home. You are home all the time. You never left, right? That's the message that is the most important message being brought forth for humanity right now, is you never left. Your home is here. You were always there. You were never separate. You can never be separate because you are. You are part of all that is. There is never a single moment of your life where you are separated from that. All you have to do is remember that, connect to that. You are that, okay? That's the message. There's no need to miss what's already here. What already exists, what never left, what can never be separated. We can't miss that which we can never lose, right? And so really remember that and connect in with that and know that that's why the first card out was you are not alone. You are never alone. You are everything and everything is you. The entire universe exists within you. And so you can connect to that energy all the time. It's never that you were disconnected at all. It's just that you forgot. So now is your time to remember. That's really beautiful. That's really beautiful. Yeah. And I think that we're going to end with that, honestly. We're going to end with that. Yeah. And on the bottom of the deck, we have wait. It's not yet time. Things are being woven. There's so much happening right now that we can't see, that we can't understand, that is beyond our level of comprehension, but things are happening. Things are being created, right? The future is being woven. And as we up-level our energy, we bring that future closer and closer. We support what is happening, right? It's like, I think there's a lot of us who feel like this ascension process isn't happening fast enough, who really thought that we were just instantly going to be transported into this paradise. And we were really looking forward to not having to do any more work, right? We were looking forward to going home. And now we feel like we're stuck here a little bit longer and we don't want to be, right? But Spirit is saying, wait, it's okay, right? You were never disconnected. You were never alone. You don't have to worry. There's nothing to miss. You're right here. It's right here. But wait, there is magic happening. This is a process. This is a journey that we signed up for. So welcome to that journey, right? Allow that journey to progress. Allow it to happen at the speed that it's meant to happen at. Don't try to rush it. Be exactly where you are. Be present where you are right now. That is what's most important. It's not yet time. It's not yet time for us to go home. It's not yet time for everyone to be living in heaven on earth. We're still building that. We're still creating that. We're still learning how to do that. We're still remembering. And that journey is absolutely perfect, and it's transpiring and unfolding exactly as it was meant to. So be patient. Be patient with yourself. Be patient with others. Be patient with spirit. Be patient with this process. And just know that you can go home anytime you want, because home is right here. All right. And then star bathing, light body crystal grid transmission activation. That is what we are receiving. All right, you guys. I could keep on going with this, but I think that that was a beautiful way to close. That was so incredibly powerful. That message coming through there, that beautiful reminder. And that's what we're here to do, is remind more and more people of that. Remind them of their divinity. Remind them of their light. If you guys would like assistance, please reach out to me. The Belvaspata angelic healing of the heart that I do is so incredibly powerful. That's what it does. It strips away the illusion of separation, reconnects us to our divinity, reconnects us to our home, reminds us that our home is right here, just like we talked about. It activates all of that remembering within us. It heals the illusion in any way, any shape, any form that illusion is showing up in your life. It peels that away so that truth can be revealed and we can live in our divine inherent perfection. And so my email's in the description box below for that and any of the other stuff that I do. Please reach out to me. If you liked this video, like this video. There are also links to donate if you feel so moved to do so. It is appreciated, but it is obviously not a requirement. It does just help support the free content that I love making for you guys, and my passion and my purpose, which is to be here to serve you and make these videos and connect with all of your beautiful, beautiful light. This is so incredibly powerful. This is good stuff, you guys. This is the stuff right here. And so I hope you have an incredible new moon. I hope that you do join us for that new moon manifesting ritual if that's something that you're drawn to. As I said, I will put the link. The link is probably going to be, I'll put the PayPal information to send the donation below. And then I will put the link as well. It's like a Facebook event thing. And so I believe that that's public, so you can check out the Facebook event as well if you guys want to check that out. But it's going to be super, super fun. And I do thank anyone who does want to join. It's just a simple $10 donation. And I will talk to you all very, very soon.